I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
And a child shall lead them. By how much?
We are doing Avenged Sevenfold, Natural Born Killer, for the big homie Hector.
Hector!
Ready?
Shout out to the homie Hector. Yes, it is time. The time has come. Natural Born Killers. Let's go.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
That's not the right video. That's not Natural Born Killers. That's not Natural
Or is it?
Born Killer. Oh! See what you did there. This is, though. Kind of thrashy. Very thrashy. Woo!
Ooh.
Woo! These boys got that metal, boy. Whoa.
Oh no.
Whoa. These dudes are hard as hell, bro. Ooh.
That was a really good one.
Wow. That was deep.
Yep.
That was deep. Very, very deep.
Yep. Do you know this was on this? This is part of the soundtrack to the Twisted Metal PC game.
How do you know that?
Well, it just said it over here on the side. It said the right here, Twisted Metal 2012 soundtrack. And then I clicked on it and it showed that this song was on it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Shout out to all the PC players that remember that game. Yeah, is this talking about like basically just like crazy people
I
go
think
shoot
it's
places up?
I think it's going into the mindset of a person who is that kind of person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was this I don't know if it's Scared Straight, but you know, you go to these we had a field trip to the prison in Florida as kids. Mm-hmm. And you know, it wasn't like, I don't want to say it was like how do I explain this? It wasn't like a Scared Straight thing. Like, we were not troubled kids. It was literally Mr. Lipinski's 5th grade class, and they took us to you know, a prison, and the guy was talking.
That's very weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. And it was like the way the cop was, like, he was a very mean. As a matter of fact, that's where I found out the difference between a bench trial and a jury trial.
Oh, really?
Was there.
Oh, interesting.
And the guy goes, okay, so you got 2 types of trial, a jury trial, and then there's a bench trial. What do you think a bench trial is? And nobody says anything. And I was like, oh, that's when the judge makes the verdict.
Yeah,
and he goes, very good, young man. That's what it is. And then he's like, you guys, you think you want to be cool? None of us wanted to be cool. You guys want to be gangbangers? None of us were gangbangers. We were 5th graders in freaking
so suburban assumptions that were
suburban Florida, and it wasn't even a racial thing. Like, the majority of the class was white. Like, it was just one of those things where you could tell, like, it was like a shtick. You know, like, it was his shtick, so he
you want to be cool.
Like,
I think sometimes I do that with the kids. I'm like, you know, you're out there trying to be cool around here. We're not trying to be cool, Mom. It's just that. But I still have my assumptions. So I'm gonna go with them regardless of what they say.
So at the time there was this movie called Natural Born Killers. It was with the white dude in
Is it good?
Wesley Snipes and
although I can't put our show down, so
no, not Wesley Snipes. It wasn't Wesley Snipes. It was the other white. It was a guy that worked with Wesley Snipes.
It's
I forgot.
A show.
It's a movie. Just put Natural Born Killer in there. You always
here?
like Woody Harrelson. There it is. So as Woody Harrelson was in this movie, him and his girlfriend went out and they went on a crime spree. Well, this kid, he got pulled over, And when the cop was,
Is this based on anything true?
well, the movie Natural Born Killers is a movie. But this kid, Christopher Matthew Smith, he was 19 at the time.
Okay.
So the sergeant pulls him over, and the kid puts up his automatic and pulled the trigger right in the cop's face, and it just so happened the gun jammed. So then he gets put up in this like high speed chase. Well, they catch him. Well, as they catch him and they're about to put him in the car, the media's there because, we had these pretty awesome, chase videos, where the police are chasing the bad guy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So then they looked at, so somebody asked him, why did you do it? Why did you do it? And the kid turns around and says, I don't know. I guess I'm just a natural born killer. Ha ha ha. And then they put him in jail. Well, this kid was at the jail that we were visiting.
No way.
So we got to see him. So he's there with everybody. He's walking around and we're looking at him like now I'm looking at him like this is completely, they had us there looking at these people like zoo animals. I mean, they were down there and then we were up top in this glass type of thing and we're just like looking down at these people. And like the majority of them were like, they're going around doing their thing, but he stopped and he looked right at us, that kid. And we were fifth graders and, it was a very like harrowing experience. And it's weird because like, I generally am not afraid of anything. Like, and I know how that sounds or whatever, but I'm not afraid of things.
Yeah.
But I remember being terrified. This guy, like the way he was looking at us. And I just remember, I don't know if it was like a person was like right next to me and you're like, yeah, that guy's got a lot of demons and he would kill you if he could. It was like a tour guide or something. Nobody was there, but like that's kind of like
the understanding you got from that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got a 25-year minimum, so he's probably out now. I mean, that happened in 1996. And Brevard County, that's my home, Florida, and that was a big thing, Natural Born Killer, because the movie had just come out. He got jammed up in 95. He got the thing in 96.
The movie came out first.
Yeah, the movie came out first.
That phrase was probably in his head.
Right, and then when they said, "Why'd you do it?" he says, "I don't know. I'm just a natural born killer." And of course, that goes to that whole debate about, and I've actually
nature nurture.
I've actually changed my mind a little bit. Not so well. Yeah, I guess it's part of the effect of media and art on people's behavior. So when Marilyn Manson got blamed for Columbine, and Marilyn Manson, as far as like his interaction with women goes, is in my mind as a Christian completely unacceptable. As a man with 2 daughters, completely unacceptable. As a man who is influencing younger men, completely unacceptable. So I just want to make that clear. But in my mind, blaming Marilyn Manson for Columbine, it was lazy, horrible parents who didn't want to take accountability for their own actions and now want to blame. So my position has always been, it is ridiculous to blame movies, video games, or whatever for people's violence. That actually changed when I listened to an interview, Charles White, I think his name is, on Vlad TV.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who grew up in a mid to upper middle class suburban life. And then he said he watched the gang movie Colors. And that's a classic movie. It's a classic hood movie about Bloods and Crips. It was like the first like Hollywood portrayal of life in a gang. And he said after he saw that movie, he started gangbanging. So he had to go to, you were there in the interview. He had to go completely outside of his neighborhood because there were no gangsters in the neighborhood. He grew up in the... And he found people to link up with and gangbang with, and ended up murdering somebody, going to prison for 15 years. I mean, just,
He was staying at his friend's house because they had like a hard life. Yeah. And he wanted that experience.
And he wanted a hard life, and he lived in a completely he shot a guy over a jacket. He said if I would have got basically good grades, my mom would have bought me the jacket. Like, he did 15 years, and he killed somebody over this jacket that his mom would have just ran to the store and got for him. Now, granted, did he have a dad in the house? No. But if you listen to him, if it wasn't for that movie, he wouldn't have had any interest in gangbanging. Okay. So I go, oh, that gave me some pause, because I'm like, okay, then maybe art does. So he already had a not optimal situation, not having a father in the house. A kid needs mom and dad. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how advanced anybody is. Kids need mom and dad. Dad's not there. I get it. But still, at the same time, like he said that so do I think that the movie Natural Born Killers influenced this Matthew? No, I think the guy was crazy, inhabited by a bunch of demons. He was going to do something reckless anyway. He just, that phrase stuck in his head, and he loved it. But I do think there are people who are like on the line where this stuff does influence them to go over the line. I do think that that's true.
Yeah.
And so when I heard the and even like if you look at these lyrics, like it's bringing you into the mind of
I know.
Of a person. Like, one of it is he doesn't want to be alone, so he's gonna kill the girl because it looks like she left him or something. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about it? I'm begging you to walk in my shoes anytime, watch the clock till you unwind. You want to cry about it? It's making me consider that I've lost my mind. The way I see you must be blind. And then the initial chorus is, so die alone. This is the one thing that I won't do. So say your prayers, because I ain't leaving here without you. So it looks to me that in the first chorus, the logic of this guy being a killer is, I don't want to be alone. And so if I kill you, then I kill myself, then I won't be alone.
Yeah. Well, there's, those tribes that, like, they say when the person dies, then they also kill, like, their wife and their kids or something and throw them in there with them. Yeah. Because then they're all together.
Yeah.
So it is,
Pharaohs used to do that. Some of the Viking tribes used to do that. Of course, just might as well. My ex, her uncle called up his ex and his daughter and said, hey, come over to my hotel tonight, we're having a party. And so the ex-wife goes, yeah, okay, that's cool. So she packs up, gets in the car, and something told her not a good idea. So she got out of the car, got her daughter out of the car. She's like, yeah, we're not gonna go. Well, turns out that the uncle blew himself away that night. And prior to that happening, when my ex was telling me like her family rundown, I should have known. I should be like, it's probably not going to work out. When she got to him and talked about all the stuff that he did, she goes, yeah, and he probably murdered someone. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, we're all pretty sure that he killed at least one person. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, we're pretty sure. But it wasn't like this is a horrible family secret or whatever. It was just one of those things where I'm not really sure if he killed someone or not. He probably did, but we think it's only one. We're not sure. This dude was like a certified, like in the Bronx, like you got like hardcore stone cold gangsters. They're like gangsters. Mm-hmm. This guy wasn't a gangster. He was just crazy. And you had people like that in New York that were like just by themselves, dark, and everybody knew to stay away from them. Even the gangsters.
Gosh.
The people just, basically, you just kill that guy or you stay out of his way. Because
like the Joker.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfect. So so we'd be in the hood, and there'd always be that one guy or something that people be like, yeah, just see that guy. Like even the toughest gangbanger on your block is gonna give that guy a pass, and you know that guy will get the pass, but nobody else will. That was that guy. So anyway, he calls up his ex and his daughter and says, hey, we're gonna have this party, and I believe God said, nope, don't go. Turns out, very next day, they find him in a hotel. He blew his brains out. So I'm talking to her, and she's like, 100% he was going to kill us. 100%. He was going to kill us all, and then he's going to kill him, me, and my daughter, and then he was going to blow himself away. That's exactly what he planned to do. And so I'm like looking at this and like looking through my life, and I'm like, oh my God, like it's just so crazy. Like you think you know again, like when I looked at his picture, like he really doesn't look like that. He looked like my ex-mother-in-law, like a dude version of her. And apparently they were very close. Obviously, that's a different story. But like, he didn't look like a gangster at all. And he didn't look like a killer. But the dude was a stone cold killer who's probably got 2 or 3 bodies on his record, including his own. So it's just
wow.
I'm like, yay, and I need to marry you. That's a DNA profile we need to replicate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, there you are. That literally happened. So do what you will with that one.
Yikes.
The second course though had a different reason, I think. Can't bribe me with money, can't shower with shame, another killer from a broken home until you cover me with manic fame.
Yeah, that was the part I was trying to get to.
Yeah. You want to know about it, but I'm going to be fucking with you every time. Story broken, you're behind. And when you ask about it, you can rest assured I'll give you my best sign. Seems we all have friends to find.
Yeah,
what were
I thought
you
that
saying?
was a pretty crazy part. Well, one, when he said, well, first of all, from a broken home.
Yeah.
You can't bribe me with money. You can't shower me with shame. Because that also was kind of like the Joker thing. Because remember, like, he had that whole pile of money. And then he just, like, lit it on fire.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the heck? Like, it was just, there was no, you can't bribe him because he was so crazy.
It wasn't his
that
value.
There was nothing that he valued.
Yeah.
And so, you know, whether he lived or he did, there was nothing. So, but anyway, that kind of made me think of that. And then when it said, until you cover me with manic fame, I thought of, you know, I always thought that was such a crazy reason to kill people, like to get fame.
Yeah.
I mean, start a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a really sick environment though, but in our hood, like if a person killed somebody, they were immediately famous.
It's so weird.
They were immediately famous, and they were immediately like respected, feared, whatever you want to call it, but you definitely earned your stripes if you killed another human being. And of course there are other, see, the thing is, when you talk about killing, there are numerous mini subcultures that are socially acceptable, where killing is a massive value. You know, I remember when it was the first couple, you know, weeks, months, even year after 9/11, and Donald Rumsfeld used to give these like daily updates on the war. Okay. And I used to live for those updates. Now I was watching those updates in from the hospital because I was crazy. But Donald Rumsfeld used to go, and he would just talk about every day how many bodies that we dropped over there in Afghanistan. And he'd say things like, well, you know, one guy asked, like, well, how can you fight an enemy that like is not afraid to die? You know, 'cause he says, well, they want to meet Allah, and we're gonna help arrange the meeting. It was just so gangster.
Yeah.
And I just remember at the time going, yeah! And all of us in the hospital, yeah! You know, like, yeah, send them to Allah, good. You know, and obviously, you know, like, 9/11, man. All this shit where, like, you can't say anything about anybody and blah, blah, blah. Man, that shit was out the window, bro. Dudes were, like, they would just, he might as well just come out and said, I hate Muslim people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, that was the energy at the time. But so there's all these subcultures where killing is it's funny. Like, shout out to Grossman, but they had Grossman doing talks with police, which is horrible. Literally, like Grossman. You know Grossman. You know what field of study he invented? Killology.
Oh, okay. I knew the name sounded familiar.
Like, literally, when you go through selection for these groups, like some of these, especially clandestine operator groups, like literally Grossman is he's required reading, and in some of these groups, he's part of the board that determines whether you pass or fail even after selection. Because he's the best at figuring out who's going to be actually willing to pull that trigger and kill someone. Or squeeze that trigger and kill someone. And that's the guy they got trading cops. Like, that is very, very necessary for occupations where your only job is to kill people and kill people efficiently. Mm-hmm. That is not how we should be training police officers. Holy shit. So Detroit, Grossman was going down to Detroit to train some of the cops, and Detroit said, nah, bro.
Yeah.
We're good. It's just funny to me, like, there are some subcultures where killing is great and celebrated, and everybody celebrates it. And then there are other subcultures where the larger culture judges people for celebrating killers. Mm-hmm. What is a military parade? Why do we fly F-15s and all the rest of it? Like the most iconic moment ever in Super Bowl history was Whitney Houston. She's in her United States of America jacket, which violates actual federal law, but we continue. She's wearing her USA jacket, and she's singing the national anthem. And of course, Whitney is a vocal gangster, obviously. And you're at the peak. I remember it very vividly. I don't even remember who's playing in that Super Bowl. I just remember when Whitney was singing that. My stepdad was there, who's a Marine and has all Marines in his family, and then mom's there, and mom is Jamaica. She never got on board with the America train, not once. Like, I didn't get my love for America from my mom. Okay. Like, she was always, everything was better in Jamaica. The nursing school, the athletics, the music, everything is better Jamaica, whatever. So my mom's there, my stepdad's there. Obviously all the brothers are there. Whitney starts singing, and I look over, and my stepdad's getting emotional. And my mom stopped what she was doing, because, girl, you don't want to watch football. And it was just a quiet moment, man, and you just felt like, because the Iraq War was on, Desert Storm. She's singing, and that boys are over there in Iraq. And of course, at the time, I didn't know anything. I was like, yeah. And there was this song, Yakety Yak, Bomb Iraq. Yeah. And we were like singing it, and it was this big joke. Mom pulled over and said, hey, that's not funny. Every time a bomb drops, you're killing people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's what's up, Ma. That's terrible, blah, blah, blah. We're in the living room. Whitney Houston is, the bomb's busting in there. Oh my God, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, like, please, somebody come into this house right now and say something about America. I will kill you. And then, as she's closing off, there's the F-15s over the stadium. What? I was totally propagandized, bro. Bush could have got on TV and says, listen, we're bombing 50,000 orphanages in India. I'd be like, yeah, bomb the shit out fuck those kids. Like, you could have justified anything. My point is, like, our country, like, it's so sick. Like, these situations, these are all about killing people. And to this day, like, they still fly the F-15s after the national anthem in football. Mm-hmm. Like, there was an obvious propaganda reason for that specific, but it was just an iconic moment. It was so powerful. But to your point, it's like celebrating killers and murderers. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're the apex predator right now on the planet. We massacre people in bunches and don't even bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
We'll body 30 innocent people out of nowhere before we pull into McDonald's for our breakfast sandwich. Like, we're not playing with y'all. This is America. So it's just like, it's very weird, like coming in from my subculture where we were from, if somebody was a killer, we're like, oh man, that guy, he's a real man, blah, 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 blah. And knowing that's a sick ecosystem. But then when you expand it out, it's like, that's our entire country.
Yeah.
It's just a giant gang. Like, Americans were just a giant gang. And like, that's what happens in Chicago. You know, one of the main reasons that a lot of these Chicago rappers keep getting targeted?
Why?
It's because they have all the money and then they arm their block. So when you take that guy out, you're taking out the financing for the weapons. So it's like, these people, that's some sophisticated shit. Like Lil Durk, like, you know, they just killed Vaughn. He's dropping, you know, you're talking about assassinations, you're talking about, you know, funding war. I mean, they got their little, that's what we're doing on a global scale. It's like, we've got all the firepower. Nobody can mess with us. You know what I'm saying? Unless, you know, that disclosure happens in June where we find out that all these aircraft that are defying the laws of gravity are really from China or Russia. If that's the case, get your Google Translate subscription and download it into your head, because if the Chinese have access to technology like the vehicles that I'm looking at, you're going to be speaking Mandarin very soon. I don't think they do. Yeah, man. So it's just crazy, like the psychology of what goes into the mind of a murderer. And
this part, you want to know about it, I'm going to be effing with you every time. Like, it, to me, it reminded me of some of the episodes or different things that you've seen where the media is interviewing these people, and you just kind of like get the feeling that they're saying, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%.
You're kind of like, wait, are we being toyed with here?
100%.
Because they know. Well, so do you remember that documentary we watched about, it was this white guy that, I mean, you know, when you look at people from like back like 20 or 50 years ago, you don't think that they're very attractive, but apparently at that time period they were.
Yeah.
So apparently, like, he was like this good-looking guy, but he was like killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think it was Kaczynski.
He kept getting off.
Yeah.
And like, anytime that like he would talk to the like women, and all the women were like just folding over for this guy.
Yeah, I think it's Ted Kaczynski. Yeah.
That situation, or you know what I mean, like where he was messing with people.
Yeah.
Or the other guy, I think this was a different guy. He was married and he was a serial killer for young girls, but he would make it look like he was injured. He would wear like a cast on his arm, and then he would ask them, oh my gosh, like I really need help. And he was playing off of their innocence and their desire to help people, and then he would kill them. And then he would come home just like a regular.
Yep.
Just, you know, and when you kind of hear about these things, it's just like, wow, my word. Like, when it said at the beginning of the song, another story with a mangled scene, it just, I don't know, like, I just, like, got, like, these visuals of different things that I've seen where there's been, like, a killing or different stuff like that, and just, like, what the scene is like, and it's like, it's sad that our world is not safe. We don't live in a safe place, and that those eventualities can happen to, like, the world is going to keep on going, and until some major change happens, you know, until people start really like taking seriously, I guess, the words of Jesus, then it's going to be like this type of thing for people and for the world. And it's just, you know, I was talking to a mom today, and she was telling me that, you know, it's difficult for her because she's in, you know, she's gay. So like the way that people have been around her and stuff, like she just generally doesn't feel safe wherever she is. And like, that's really sad. But yet at the same time, it's not like you could say,
and they have,
oh, that's just in your head. Like, no, I can see how
they have the most beautiful little girl. I mean, she's amazing, which means they must be doing a damn good job with her.
Yep, she's she's very good.
And it's mind-boggling to me in 2021.
Yeah.
Like, they have to, you know,
yeah,
they obviously, you know, tomorrow when you talk to him, just let him know anything to come,
Yeah, for sure.
But like, it's like, really, really, these ladies got to worry about this in 2021.
Yeah.
People killing them because they're gay. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. I just retweeted something where this black woman, the guy pulled out of the gas station and just started letting off. He said, "There's too many black people in America." Yeah, like I literally just happened, and the dude got taken in and all the rest. But it's just like, it's so crazy to me how, I mean, like how powerful the connection is with human beings to each other, and then some random person comes and takes that away.
I know.
It's like, it's so mind-boggling. It's so mind-boggling. And at the same time, it's like he's saying, "Walk a mile in my shoes," and of course at that point everybody's like, "Man, I don't give a fuck where your shoes took you. You gonna have to die for this shit, bro." And like, I get that, but at the same time, that's not the way ultimately, because you do need to know why people do what they do, and you do need to understand them. Not even if it's not like, I want to know you as a person or understand you. You have to know. So, for example, 9/11, Bush gets on TV and he says, "Well, they hate us because of our freedom." No. They hate us because we're unilaterally supporting Israel, and Israel is running an apartheid state over there, oppressing the hell out of those people. And we are unilaterally supporting a state that does that. And because we are the biggest bullies on the block and we have all the money, the other side has no means of defending itself. Secondarily, you have United States insignia in Muslim territories, which some of that is our right to be there just because we made deals with certain members of the government, but some of that is just American imperialism. And it caught up with us. The reason it's important to know why they attacked us is so that we can go, well, is it in our best interest to continue to unilaterally support an apartheid state? And is it in our best interest to continuously have the American war machine and symbols of American dominance and supremacy all over the planet?
Yeah.
Is that the wisest thing to do? Now, there's 328 million of us, and so 9/11, there's only 3,000 people, so I guess you could say that's negligible. Rest in peace to my aunt. But you have to understand why people are doing what they're doing, and then we as the American people could have made an informed decision about Israel, our bases, et cetera, et cetera. The other side of that, though, is like, I've done probably 60 to 70 discussions with killers, like people who murder people, some of them at very big scales. And like, you would be very surprised with how rational, reasonable, and how just like Joe down the street a lot of these guys are. Like, and 3 women. Like, the women, they were all crazy. They were all like, obviously this broad is crazy, of course. But and some of the men were like that. But for the most part with the guys, it wasn't like, oh my God, you can, like, it's terrifying how normal they are. Like, it's unbelievable. But almost all of them, broken home, no dad, almost universally no dad. Even like,
wow,
people making decisions to join certain organizations or whatever, and make life a literal living hell for the civilian populace. Those people, they didn't have dads either. Their dads got killed because of X, Y, and Z thing, and so it's a boomerang effect. So it's just. It's just really, it's hard to say like, oh yeah, we should understand the mind of a killer, but we absolutely need to. We absolutely need to. And not just, people in, these alphabet groups or whatever. Like, everybody needs to have an understanding, because one is, it'll wake people up. Yeah. That's one of the things, like, I was just on the phone with a family member of mine whose who's in the game and is doing really good stuff all over the planet, but your understanding of things, you become changed as a person after you have some of those discussions.
How can you not?
You know,
how can you not?
Especially like when you see the result, because that's the other thing. Like when you talk about killing, like there's the act itself, but when you're killing someone, they're alive while you're killing them, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
And most of the time, people that kill people aren't around after to see the after effects. So,
oh my gosh.
One tactic that's proven in some demographics to be really powerful is to show this is what happened. Here's the last 30 seconds. This guy is, the bullet didn't kill him. He a fragment pierced this, and then his lungs got filled up with pus and blood or whatever, and he drowned to death, actually. So here, it's very, very powerful for a lot of people. And then there's some people that will see the gory details, and it'll give them actual satisfaction and pleasure and whatever. And the thing that people don't realize is that it's in everybody.
What is?
The pleasure at the death of the horrific, gory, grimy death of another human being, that is in everybody. People go, no. Yeah, it is.
How can you say something like that?
Because I remember, I talked about this, the Kasaspa video where ISIS caught that guy. He was a jet fighter, and he was a Turkish jet fighter guy. They shot down his plane. He jumped out. They caught him. And they put him in a cage and set him on fire, burned him to death. And the next day, I think it was Adrogan. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. He used to be in the Air Force. So they shot this propaganda video of him loading up, getting into his jet, and he flies off, presumably on a mission to avenge Kasaspa. Mm-hmm. And I and everybody who saw the video was like, yeah, get some. And sure enough, they bombed the shit out of those ISIS strongholds or whatever. And I was like, yeah. And God was like, yeah, bro, totally. You're so angry at those guys who burned that guy to death. So you are now celebrating when their positions get bombed. And God said to me, Vin, how do people die? You know how people die when they get bombed. They generally don't die because of they burn to death. Mm-hmm. I go, yeah. And I'm like, so God's like, okay, so this guy was a pilot bombing the hell out of people, and they burned to death. That's why when they caught him, they burned him to death. And now you are celebrating the fact that they're burned to death. There's no you're the same person. And some of these people, you just have to understand, some of these people have witnessed their entire family decimated in front of them by Americans. Mm. So when they catch one of us, yeah, they have pleasure in your slow, painful death. But don't think that you're not that way. If somebody came in here and killed everybody you love and raped the girls, and then you found them and somebody killed them and they died in a painful way.
No, you're right.
It's in you. Yeah. It's in everybody. And so when I've had,
yeah,
this review is all over the place. I've had very interesting experiences, man, but and I've seen some pretty ugly people. But I went from, you progress after you've seen enough, like you progress from saying, oh my God, I hate all these people. They all need to die and I'm going to kill them all, to I want to know why they did that, because that person and me are the same in that sense. So why did what drove, I just want to know why the person did it, as understanding of another human being, like for the most part. If I see something on the news or whatever, like, I've been thinking a lot about Chauvin, like what was going through his mind. 9 minutes and 22 seconds he's on this guy's, like what was going on in his mind? Why? What was happening? I just want to know,
Yeah.
judgment's already been cast for him, and obviously if he doesn't repent, he's going to have a hard conversation with Allah. But you know, like what's going? So it's just a crazy situation. Why these people do it? Why do killers? Why do they do it? It's unbelievable. Very, very provocative song. I like the speed metal angle to it. It's very old school Metallica. Sorry guys for the long review. What do you give it?
I really liked it a lot. 9.9.
I'm gonna give it a solid 9.4. I don't think that I like thrash metal that much, to be honest with you. Fight Fire with Fire. I think Master of Puppets, the song Master of Puppets, could probably be characterized as a thrash song. The song itself. Battery, obviously. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the thrash like sound a lot. So 9.4 for me, but really good song and very provocative. There you are, dear listener.
Shout out to Hector.
Shout out to Hector. Moral of the story is don't kill anyone.
No, don't.
Plant a tree. Do something productive with your life. Start a YouTube channel. This way nobody's injured.
Get your fame that way.
Get your fame that way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.